What's going on, YouTube, Facebook, subscribers, viewers? This is Bill Mack here with Pro Wrestling Unleashed, and this is the SmackDown Live review for April the 4th, 2017. This is the SmackDown after Mania, the first SmackDown after WrestleMania, which, as like its Raw counterpart, it's supposed to have surprise call-ups, and supposed to be a good show. You still have that mixture of the casual WWE audience with still some of the visitors that are staying over for the NXT, Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, all that combined stuff. Combined shows. SmackDown was pretty decent. I thought it was a pretty good show. Like I said, it was good to see SmackDown come out strong. I'm a very big SmackDown person, as you can tell with my videos. But I thought it was a solid show. A couple surprises as we get to it. But to start off with the show, as like I said, I didn't give a WrestleMania post review show, but whenever changes happen, I'm going to, of course, in the report, I will give you the changes in it with the SmackDown review. As we begin the show, the new WWE World Champion, Randy Orton, as we know from the pay-per-view, defeated Bray Wyatt in a very, it was a decent match. Had a lot of graphics and stuff with bugs and showing up in the ring and worms and roaches and all these other kinds of things that were there, which was made it very odd. Randy Orton, however, did have a cool python entrance as he started walking down. There was a python zigzagging down the ramp as he started walking down, which I thought was pretty cool. So, but he was in the ring, and of course, he got a very mixed reaction, which is typical of that. Like JBL famously loves to point out, sometimes they boo the ones you're supposed to cheer, and they cheer the ones you're supposed to boo. So leave it up to JBL to give some stupid excuse like that. But Randy started out, and Randy reemphasized that whole, if you can't beat them, join them, and then when it's time, then you screw them. And he mentioned that was what he had set up over the course of time to get close to Bray and then turn around and basically screw Bray over. And ultimately, he says, when you do that, you better make sure that you beat him. And that he did. He hit the RKO from out of the Sister Abigail position and picked up the win. He is the champion, as we see as well. He talks to Bray, and then all of a sudden, Bray appears on the Titantron, and he talks to him, mentioning that he does have a rematch clause. He is invoking his rematch clause, and he introduces and tells Randy that this isn't going to be your typical match. He calls it, he says, we're going to have one that's going to twist not your physical, but your mental, your emotions in this match. You're going to be crying out of it. You're going to be having these kinds of thoughts and things that's going to come from this. It's going to change you mental-wise, and he calls it the House of Horrors match. But he hasn't yet explained it, which we'll probably get more into it with the upcoming edition of SmackDown and what that is. And still, folks, we're still talking about the Superstar Shakeup, the Vince from previous night's Raw, where he talked about they're going to do trades and things. Probably it's like another name for the draft, maybe. Happening. So we see that ends up when Bray talks, going back to Bray, when Randy, as soon as Randy accepts it, the Titantron goes out, and then Bray appears behind Randy, and they start brawling at it. And then out of nowhere, with a different colored suit on, but a different color sheet mask on, Eric Rowan makes his surprise reappearance, and they both go and attack Randy in the corner. And then all of a sudden, Luke Harper, which is the Wyatt family member that's no longer with them, he comes down and he helps out Randy, fights off Rowan and Bray, which sets up a basic tag team matchup for later on in SmackDown. So we see this setup in the beginning. Alexa Bliss has challenged Naomi to a rematch for the women's SmackDown Women's Championship. As we saw at the pay-per-view, there was a SmackDown Women's six-pack challenge where Naomi ends up coming out victorious in this. So Alexa Bliss automatically, since she was former champion, invokes her rematch clause for tonight. Decent match ending comes down with Naomi hits what she calls it the Slayer Mission head scissors, which is the same finisher that she used on Alexa Bliss to get her to tap at the pay-per-view. She uses it again tonight and still retains the women's title. So congratulations to Naomi for retaining her SmackDown women's title. Up next, we have Curt Hawkins, and he's in the middle of the ring. And he's going on and on and on about how the focus should be on him. And he says, you know what? I'm going to deliver an open challenge to anyone back there to come out and try to prove me. Well, all of a sudden it hits, and he says, I'm going to count to 10. And about that time it triggers. Lo and behold, Mr. Perfect 10 himself, Ty Dillinger, makes his SmackDown Live debut. And to a crowd of cheers and 10s holding up. Everybody holding up the 10. And as this match went along and Ty was facing Curt Hawkins in this matchup, the fans were 10ing every hit that Ty Dillinger did or offensive move that he got on Curt Hawkins, which I thought was pretty cool that they did that. You know, he was welcomed and had a warm reception into the matchup and into WWE SmackDown Live. We'll see how that carries on down the road, but for tonight it was a good debut for him, and he ends up hitting the tiebreaker on Hawkins to get to 1, 2, 3. So here we have it, Mr. Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger himself, winning his debut matchup on SmackDown Live against Curt Hawkins. So thought that was pretty good debut for him, pretty good debut for Ty Dillinger. So we go to the back, and Mojo Rawley, and they show what happens with Gronk at WrestleMania, which those you know, Mojo Rawley won the over-the-top Andre Memorial Battle Royal, and he defeated Jinder Mahal. And we see that he's in that, they ask him, you know, how was it being with Gronk, and how did you celebrate? And he was telling how happy he was and how fun it was and cool hanging out with Gronk and celebrating, you know, his victory. And then he kind of gets very serious, and he gets, you know, saying how much it means to him. And the fans kind of were mixed at the beginning, but when he got real serious about it, how much it meant to him, which usually Andre, the giant over-the-top Memorial Battle Royal winner, usually hopefully jumpstarts an upcoming, you know, career. It hopefully gives them more credibility and gives them hopefully a push down the road, and they develop down the road, which we know past years' winners have been Baron Corbin last year, and we see how well he's done this year. We've seen the Big Show, and of course we know the Big Show, and we've seen the first year's winner, Cesaro, and where he's at now. But yeah, I thought it was a very good promo. He got mixed reviews, and then in the end, when he talked about how serious it meant to him, the fans kind of got behind him. So it was a good segment to see him and how much it meant to him, because, you know, he was always the hot bros with Zack Ryder, and now he's to himself. Now he's being pushed as a singles guy. He's still green. Still think he has a future. He's just got to get his wrestling and get more experience in the ring, and I think he'll do pretty good. So congratulations to Mojo Rawley on his win at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Up next, we have mentioned earlier in the night, if I didn't mention it, Miz said this is going to be the last time on TV. The Miz and Maurice are being in the back, and they said we're going to call out John Cena and Nikki Bella, and this is probably going to be the last time you see them in there, being a long time. And they went to a break, and as soon as I take a break, I'll be right back. So hold on tight. So we see that basically this is the last time they're going to be there. He's going to call them out. So now, fast forward to where we are right now. All of a sudden, John Cena's music hits, and the crowd just boos. They boo Cena. Boo Cena. That is what to do. Boo Cena. Nobody wants to see Cena. After that garbage, I call it garbage. A lot of people don't like to give my opinion on that. I agree with The Miz. A lot of people had problems. I didn't like the matchup. I know some people, and a lot of people are saying it is what it is. But in my opinion, for The Miz to dominate the matchup like he did, and it's funny because when they were showing the clippings from the match from last night, the thing with Nikki clotheslining Maurice and then them doing the five knuckle shuffle thing, that's the only things they've done in the matchup. Miz literally played to the crowd. The crowd was cheering him, chanting him. They wanted him to wail on Cena, wail on him one after the other. Cena got one flip outside the ring. Miz dominated the matchup. Then the only thing John Cena does is the five knuckle shuffle and the STF and the attitude adjustment for the pin. And Nikki does her finisher. Very stupid. And then he gives up a proposal to Nikki because she wanted it. He's giving her what she wanted. And it was just so TV-esque, and I just really didn't really care for it. I'm just not really a big Cena fan at all. And to see how that played out just totally just showed what Maurice said in the back earlier. She said, Nikki should be thanking us because for us to what we were doing was basically it forced John he had no choice but to propose to her. So we know this isn't the cause for it, but it just had to be what Miz called a WrestleMania moment for it to happen, of course, for him to show up and the match to go down like it is. And granted, we know Cena and Nikki are gone for a while, and so we're going to, this is what we see. But I thought it was a good. They came out with Cena. The Miz came out dressed like Cena, and of course Maurice was like Miz. Maurice was like Nikki Bella. It cut his very promo, and they were talking about basically, that he said that the ring, much like their relationship, was fake, and then he said that they were going to be leaving WWE. So this was their send off, apparently, and a lot of folks were like cheering the Miz and yes, 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 and he said, "Rule on John Cena, rule number one." He said you can't be chanting John Cena sucks in this arena at all. And then the fans start cheering it, and it's funny. And then he chants. I cannot remember. I was going to chant that he leaves people with as they get ready to go and leave out the ring. And just as the Miz and Maurice step out, all of a sudden it goes black. Everything in the whole arena goes dark. And out comes, and then you see Edward Lee, I believe is his name. I'm sorry if I get his name wrong. I didn't. I should have researched and looked his name up, but I didn't get his name in. But he's the violinist that plays for Shinsuke. And the fans just started. He was in all white, and it just shows us how all of a sudden he starts playing the violin, and right the time he starts to chord, everybody goes crazy because everybody knows just who it is. And then the lights go out, and then all of a sudden the music hits, the background goes red, and then it starts blinking off with the what I call seizure lighting, and it's Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes, indeed, fans, he has made his appearance. He has came to SmackDown, made his SmackDown Live roster debut. I am so happy. I am a big Shinsuke fan since he was in New Japan, the king of strong style through NXT. Now it's time for him to make his appearance on SmackDown Live. Now, folks, he comes all the way to the ring. The Miz and Maurice, of course, leave, and he's in the middle of the ring. He doesn't even say a word. The fans just chant. They chant. They go along with the song. It was just a great reception to see Shinsuke in SmackDown, in WWE now up on the main roster. And to me, it was one of the biggest. For me, between SmackDown and Raw, to me, it was the biggest debut that it could have had because I'm just a big Shinsuke fan. So great to see Shinsuke make his appearance and make his debut on SmackDown Live. So next we have another rematch from WrestleMania. Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf, taking on Dean Ambrose, and they talk like this match was a crapper. I didn't get to see it. It was on the kickoff show, which says one thing, and two is I was at work, and I didn't get to see I didn't watch the kickoff show, so I didn't get to see the matchup. But they talked like it was a real crappy match, and this match was basically back to their liking. And Dean Ambrose can't have a regular matchup; he just looks really bad in it. So they had to have a street fight, of course. And they fought all over the place, battling each other, using stuff like chairs. They used tables. They started beating each other with leather straps. They went all over. And then basically Corbin ended up getting the win after throwing a chair at Ambrose's head and then catching him in the end of days. So we see that Corbin gets his revenge on Dean Ambrose in this matchup. So this is the further along Baron Corbin as a heel to contend with in SmackDown Live, which is what they need right now. So finally, we're winding down the night. Shane McMahon comes out. He addresses the universe, WWE Universe, and about the shakeup and how he says that any member on the Raw roster would be lucky to come to SmackDown. And that is so true because indeed SmackDown, even though it's treated like the B show, is the actual #1 show because it's always more entertaining when they do polls, when Bruce Blitz, shout out to Bruce Blitz, or they do, or Solomon, or any of those do those polls. They always show that Raw is nowhere near to where SmackDown is when it comes to fans liking the actual show. So I thought that was a great thing. And then all of a sudden, AJ Styles comes out, which is surprising because remember, at the pay-per-view, AJ Styles defeated Shane McMahon. And he says that, he didn't want to leave SmackDown Live. He said SmackDown Live is the place that AJ built, and he knew it. Shane knew it. The fans knew it. Everybody knew it. And he didn't want nobody else coming into his home. So it looks as if Shane is cutting a baby face and maybe going baby face with SmackDown Live. So he says that he only has one thing to offer Shane, and he sticks his hand out. And the fans are cheering. Of course, the fans are AJ anyway, cheering for AJ. And Shane shakes his hand, and he shakes his hand, and then he turns around, and then AJ fakes like he's going to hit Shane, and Shane fakes like he's going to react. And then AJ just looks at Shane and just kind of smiles at him and does his little pose thing there. And Shane just shakes his head, and then AJ eventually leaves. So I thought it was a pretty good moment there. So it looks like AJ is going to become a face from the looks of it. So that was a good segment. Winding down, folks, to end out the main event here, we have a tag match with Randy Orton and Luke Harper taking on Bray Wyatt and the re-debuting Eric Rowan. And it all basically, they go back and forth through the whole matchup. It's a good physical matchup. Not very long, but a good matchup when the ending shows where Orton ends up pinning Rowan after he hits an RKO. And basically, Bray Wyatt, which he was laying down there in the ring, and then he eventually teleports to the outside, and you see Eric Rowan trying to catch Randy off guard while Randy's distracted by Bray. But like I said, Randy hits the RKO, and he and Luke Harper pose on the corners of the ring. So that was the ending to SmackDown. Thought it was a decent show. Had its good roller coaster effects on it, some good matches, good moments of theirs, such as Ty Dillinger debuting, such as Shinsuke Nakamura appearing, such as seeing AJ hopefully turn face, because he's a good face and the fans already accept him. Couldn't really be a heel. They kept just cheering him on and on, so only logical choice. So this is Bill Mack here. This is for Pro Wrestling Unleashed. I hope you fans have enjoyed my results, and if you like this video, like it. Subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as I can, folks. And if you're a wrestling fan, you've got to subscribe to me because I pump out every single basic show that I can. I do Raw now. I guess I'm going to start doing Raw. I done SmackDown, and I do Impact Wrestling wrap-ups. So everyone take care. Until next time with Pro Wrestling Unleashed, this is Bill Mack. Take it easy.